So in this last video, I'm going to talk about some applications of what we learned in looking at examples where we are um, getting total values or searching for values inside a 2D array. So in this example, what we're doing is that we are getting an array of information about new cars and used cars sold from three different dealerships. And what we have to do is we have to display the total number of new cars sold, the total number of used cars sold, and the total number of cars sold, new and used together. So we have this array, a class level array called cars sold, meaning that by class level I'm meaning that it's accessible to all these subroutines. And then we have the subroutine called new button click. So what it does, it gets the upper bound or the total, not the total, it's the upper bound of the row subscript, which is here's it's 2 because there are three rows, and so the third row will have a subscript of 2. And then it has a for loop, which basically adds up the number in that row to total new, because the total new is an accumulator, so it accumulates the total number of, or it accumulates the cars sold, so it adds up by that amount in each row, and then it gets displayed in a label. Similar to that is the use button. It goes through the second column, adds up everything to get the total number of used cars. And finally, in the total button dot click event, we don't use the same idea, because we can just use the for each, which basically goes through every element in the 2D array to get you the total cars sold. So it adds up every element, and it basically accumulates that in total cars to get you the total number of cars sold. Finally, if you want to search for something in an array, this is an example of how to do that. So we have a studio manager, which wants application which will calculate the total price of a order consisting of one or more paintings. The price per painting depends on the number of paintings order. If it's between 1 and 5, it's $100. If it's between 6 and 10, it's $90. If it's greater or equals to 11, then it's $75. So to do that, what we have is an array having minimum values in the first column, and the corresponding prices in the second column. And this is a class level array, meaning that all the subroutines have access to it. So notice that we haven't defined the maximum value, or we don't have a column which has the maximum value, because as we'll look into further, that it's not really needed based on our code. And so the code is that once you've defined all your variables, you take out the quantity entered from the text box and have a do while loop. So and there's a variable called high row, which basically gets the upper bound of the row, and then while the row you're looking at is less than or equals to high row, and we have a boolean variable called found. If that's false, then look at the corresponding value in minimum value. If it's less than the quantity order, less than or equals to, then the price per painting is that. So in that case, so basically what we're doing is we are assigning the price per painting based on the quantity order. If it falls between the range specified by that row, then just assign the price per painting to that and change found to true, else keep on going to the next row. So eventually you will find it. So, and notice here we have it in descending order from the minimum values from 11 to 1. So that's why this code works in that way. And so once we have that, once we have a price per painting, then it's easy to calculate the total cost by multiplying the price per painting by the total number entered, or the quantity entered by the user. So that was our last example. In this class we discussed all about arrays, and hopefully that will help in your project or your assignment. So yep, that's the class. Have a good weekend.